I got a thumbs up back, and I believe that means that we are on, we are live, and we are, well, I'm using the royal we. Right now it's just me, the host, Sam Irvin. This show is Asheville 8 Note. It is a bi-weekly live stream broadcast where I have different Asheville musician guests on to chat for an hour and jam for an hour. Today I've got Zaq, oh no, you just told me about it. Squares. Yes, Squares. Zaq Squares is coming on in a moment. And he's going to talk to me about hosting Open Folk and the EP that he's working on, that he's about to record, or that he just recorded. Tomorrow. It's imminent. And the various other artistic projects that you're involved with. We'll chat about those. Maybe how grief meets humor. Maybe about the worst performers he's ever curated. No. I hope that he can give me some hosting tips. That's really what I'm trying to get out of today's episode. I do this show for tips and tricks from my guests. I mostly do it to carve out time to be creative for creative sake and just have fun with music. I'm a full-time musician, teacher, and performer, and sometimes producer. And it's nice to just have a time every 2 weeks now to joke around, to goof off, and to have fun, and to build community and provide a platform. Zaq will also be performing some tunes off of that EP that's to come on nylon and voice at the back half of the show. Reason number 3 I do this show is to practice my AV skills and see if everything's working. So per tradition of the show, I'm going to check and make sure that my voice is coming through, and it is. You guys can hear me right now, and I'm very proud of myself. There are a lot of ways that my gain staging can go wrong, but today, nailing it. In fact, it was a pretty easy setup because I figured out how to toggle between the mixer that these mics go into and the connections of the microphones that Zach will be playing into later via this warm audio preamp EQ here. Pretty excited. Zach's checking his watch as I
I had an itch. I don't watch this. Sorry.
Oh no, it's okay. I'm teasing myself, not you. It's a freckle past the hair, he says over there. Yeah, the 3 reasons I do this. There's a Patreon that's associated with the show on Irvin Music Studio, and you can go back to Irvin Music Studio's YouTube page to check out past episodes of the show. This is episode 93. We are approaching episode 100. I'm trying to do something special for that. In 2 weeks, it'll be the anniversary episode, 2 years in to the show, and Andy John will be back he's a fellow teacher at Asheville Music School, and he's going to bring on his kid band, I guess teen band, adolescent band, perhaps. They're called Dollars on Ice. So I'm pretty excited about that for the anniversary ep. What else is up? The weather's been pretty good. Today is the first day of February, which means that there are 3 episodes in February. There's one on a leap day at the end of the month. Am I up to anything that people can come check out soon? At the end of February, I'm playing with Otorongo, or Paul Gaeta, friend of the show, at The Well as part of his ongoing series, the last Sunday of the month at 7 p.m. Yeah. He's got quite a thing going over there. I don't know if you checked it out.
I have. We should talk about that.
Well, I was about to say, why don't you come on over here? I think that I've floundered enough.
Oh, I think you're doing great. Flounder's delicious.
I got it. Yeah. Come on down. We're going to be using this microphone. That's important.
Great.
And I'm going to relocate these headphones.
Great.
Yeah, welcome. I didn't think about how this is going to be awkward spacing here.
It's kind of cool if there's 2 of them, It feels more intentional. If there was 3, it'd be like cluttered. Oh shit, I forgot you have one.
It is, yeah, I can hold this one.
And we're back.
It is a little bit cluttered. I made some upgrades to the studio over winter, and I'm just still in that winter rut a little bit. I'm just trying to go with the flow a little bit more than push. I don't think the time is here to push anymore.
Yeah, winter's not for pushing. Winter's for reflecting, I think. Spring is for pushing, Like that's what the seeds are doing.
Yeah, pushing out of there. Yeah.
They're right now just like, maybe I don't die, which is kind of what I'm up to as well.
Yeah, I hear that. Yeah. But you're still managing to put on Open Folk almost every week, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of work that goes into that. At the risk of making you repeat yourself, we talked a little bit about it before you came on. And at the risk of getting down to business, I didn't really ask it. Thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah, of
I
course.
should say that.
For sure.
And I'm glad to connect with you. Thanks for just like keeping me company.
Oh yeah. I've been looking forward to this. This is nice. Just being in a studio and shooting the shit.
Yeah, let's make sure that, you know what, I want to double check and make sure that your voice is coming through. Oh, it is. You don't even have to be that close.
I'm glad we got me saying shit. That's really good. I got to say shit twice, which is now 4 times.
Perfect. Yeah.
This in the first 2 minutes, which if you've been to Open Folk, I cuss sometimes on accident.
Yeah,
and on purpose.
I'm not. I've decided not to censor any of my guests. You can say whatever you'd like. Do you
I
censor
don't have much to
anybody?
say.
I'm sure we'll prove that
I-
wrong here in a moment.
We're gonna do our best. We're all just doing our best.
So you like to cuss when you're hosting. Is that a good tip?
It's I
Put people at ease, maybe?
I have recognized that I cuss. You know, it's we have an adult audience. People will reach out and ask if they can bring their kids, and it's like, I'm not going to tell anybody what subject matter not to cover. So like, you can bring your kids, but like, suicide and sex are like things that the music community is always going to engage with in some way. It's going to affect and ripple out, and so those things could come up. And as long as you're okay with telling your kids about that stuff, then sure. But also, are you sure you want me or our musicians telling your kids about that stuff? Mm-hmm. To which usually people are like, no, would have been fine. You know?
Sure.
But I'm like, oh, I don't know
Probably
what to do.
not the best.
You know, there's that like horror of being screenshotted, and you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, don't bring your kids. I hate kids.
Right. Which I like, that's fine, whatever. I don't know what I'm afraid of. I guess a little bit of I'm a little afraid of everything, but
fear keeps you safe sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. What else keeps you safe?
That's a good question. Self-regulation. I think.
Yeah, self-regulation.
What else?
Is good.
Maybe security. Well, I guess you get security from safety, or is it vice versa?
Do you get security from safety, or do you get safety from security? I guess if you're in a safe space, you'd feel secure. If you're in a secure space, you don't necessarily feel safe. Right?
Yeah, right.
So
I guess, figuring out some way to be calm.
Breathing.
Elicits safety. Yeah. Breath. Boundaries. We love our therapists. Yeah, we do.
Our therapists would love to hear this
shout out to my
conversation.
therapist. Not gonna actually say who it is on air, but
that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have been to an open folk. I want to be going to more of them, but they are kind of early.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I actually appreciate. I wish more stuff was earlier on the weekend, especially, but they're usually on Tuesday. Is that right?
Yeah. You got it. Every Tuesday, doors at 6:30, starts at 7:15, and it's usually over by 9:15. But you can come late. The thing is, like, I want to like both hammer home to people, like, come whenever you can come. Like, it's not a problem. We're not going to turn you away for being there, even for the last artist. But also, I don't set up the lineup to where like the quote best person is last, or you know what I mean. It's about a flow to the evening, and every time somebody returns, I make sure they play a different spot in the night to really push that through. So, I feel like it's something that like people will show up at like 6:15, and I'll be like, you gotta wait outside the curtain for 15 minutes till I open these curtains, and then you gotta sit in here for like 45 minutes where like nothing's gonna be going on, but like, you know what I mean, I'm grateful that you're here and like have some dinner or whatever, but those people are gonna see like the full show, which builds on itself in a really nice way. So I think that's just to say, like, be there by 7:15 so you can have a seat and like really see what we're trying to give you. But
and then it goes to what? 10:15?
9:15.
9:15. 2 hours. A tight 2 hours.
A tight 2 hours. Yeah, that's something I really pride myself and us on.
Well, people really do speak very highly of this. People rely on it. It's a reliable show, from what I understand. You know, somebody described it to me as their church. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty. It's big. That's a big compliment. It's spiritually touching people.
It is.
Yeah.
It is, and we have a lot of laughs about that, like, among those of us who put it on, of just like, what do they mean? There's just a charismatic leader and really moving songs, and you're not allowed to talk. How is that like church? Oh, yeah, I see it. So,
Well, does anybody ask the crowd to sing along?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So there's
usually
a little
me.
bit of hymnal. Okay. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, our audience can sing. It's so cool because so many musicians come to like support it. That like when somebody gets up and like, it's hard to do. It's hard to like accept the failure. You know what I mean? When you try to have a sing along, it's not going to be what you want it to be, no matter what.
Definitely not.
And even if it is what you want it to be, you're not going to know. You're not out there doing it. You know what I mean? Like your job is not to be there and feeling it, and like so much of that is what being a performer is. But people who have like who understand how to like, here are the words that you need to say. Ready? Okay, we're gonna practice it a couple times. Okay, you with me? Yeah, you feel good? Okay, cool. When that part comes, we're gonna hit it together. Yeah, all right? Yeah, one more time? Okay, cool. And then everybody's just like annoyed with how well they know it. And then when the part comes and everybody's like, then it's just this like huge chorus of like, well, everybody's singing it. But you know, there's other people who come up and are just like, we're all gonna go, ready? And then they play their song for 2 minutes and they're like, come on, where were you? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
right. You gotta set it up.
And like I'm there, I just
That's
observe.
a good tip.
And so the audience is just kind of like, what was it? What were the notes? When do I do this? Oh, we can't talk. You know what I mean? So it's this like, I'm just waiting for somebody to realize how to utilize the fact that there's like 100 people who can mostly sing, who are there to be moved, and like how to get. I tried with Catherine O'Shea, but she was so busy when she was still living here. I was like, the things that we could do of just like, you know what I mean? Like, you guys sing these notes and these, like, get them to sing a chord, and then like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It could be so
that
neat.
could be fun. Yeah.
Just like have them sing like the chord and your chorus is just like, I want to see more people like write a song to use that audience to perform that song.
That sounds
You know?
like a challenge. Yeah. Put it out there.
Yeah.
I went to see Reggie Watts at the Orange Peel, and they recorded us chanting something for his new album that he was recording here at Drop of Sun.
Sick.
So my voice is in there somewhere.
Nice.
You listen. I tried to sing like this, so like I would stick
So
out.
you know.
I'm just kidding. But I should have. I'm really regretting not doing that now.
Yo, I've always like I've been somebody on dating apps for a long time, multiple times, and I've always wanted to like meet somebody for the first time off a dating app and just be like, "Hi, I'm Zach," and like just see like how they would react.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because like, what do they do?
It is tough because you're kind of trapped. Like when you enter
You're
that
trapped.
date.
Yeah, we've all had the traps, you know. It's
Yeah.
tough. Yeah.
I think they'd probably. I'd like to think that they'd still be nice to you.
It's kind of more like, how much do you want to learn about somebody immediately? Like, I'm immediately showing that like I'm goofing, but I'm also showing that I'm untrustworthy, but not in a dangerous
call
way.
you out on that as well.
And then
right?
like also like how they react if they were just like nah and bailed, I'd probably be like, you're the kind of person I need in my life. You know what I mean? And now I've gone and messed it all up.
Because they hold boundaries?
Yeah, because like what a good boundary, just be like, you seem like you suck. And, like, you know, if your first impression was like, hi, I'm Zach, just kidding, it's a little like you might suck. And you know what I mean?
Maybe.
If over
a
time
gamble.
she find out I don't suck, but then one of us is probably gonna suck.
That's morbid. Yeah.
It's-
well,
yeah.
we're all human. We all do suck and don't suck.
That's it.
Yeah.
And it's just like I'm not gonna go down the line of I was gonna say never mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
Great.
I won't push you on it. But you
Thanks.
can. But you don't have to.
Yeah.
I find, well, you know, like the imperfections are almost what make us human. And I think that becomes more and more striking as we enter the future, and there's so much like polish and definition and refinement in, you know, the sort of fantasies that we see, you know, in television or like highly produced music or dating apps or social media, you know. And open folk, I'm just going to bring it back to there every 2 seconds to reset, but it certainly does showcase that like human like imperfection moments. Even a crowd failing to sing along is like you know, you feel that on a bodily level of like, woof, this is an awkward moment.
Yeah.
Or when I went and, you know, saw it, it was a very rowdy singer just singing about how his alcoholism has like ruined his life, but he's still very determined to drink a bunch of beer. And I was like, all right, man. Yeah. I don't know. He seemed to have been there many times. I would name him if I remembered.
Jesse Harmon.
Maybe.
Yeah. Cracking a Beer, I think, is the song.
Mm-hmm.
He's really just a wonderfully talented songwriter, and he has no idea. But I think he's quit drinking since, and he's cleaned a bunch of stuff up. But he's also he's aware of his demons, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that song's just like watching the wind blow, watching my time go out the window. I'm just sitting here watching the plants grow. And it's just about sitting drinking beers, not doing anything, and feeling people judge you. I think that's who you're talking about. He's real rowdy. But I love that line. Watching my plants go out the window, watching the plants grow. Damn, how did you rhyme all those words and take me on such a little journey? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this song is called Cracking a Can. And it's about just sitting and drinking beer. It's like, I mean, he's a genius.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've had great people on. Mike Martinez was there that night, and I went to see our friend Kate.
Yeah, okay.
Kate Bryant.
I remember that night.
Both friends of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Kate's coming to help me record some violin parts for my album tomorrow. I'm very grateful to her. She's a wonderful human being.
We just played a little show together.
Were you on the river?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
I really wanted to come to that. I had a session that day, and I was like heading towards the door to go there, but then I stopped at the couch and fell asleep.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I get
it was
that.
tough.
Yeah. That's another series that I've been putting together is Rippers on the River. And every other Sunday at Zillicoa, we just offer a couple artists who've played in open folk the opportunity to go out and play. And it's a format that I've come up with that I just call, I don't like rounds. I don't like playing rounds. I think it's weird to have people be able to watch you react to someone else making music. And I don't, especially when there's like multiple people, and it's like I'm going to play a song and then I'm going to wait like 15 minutes for several other people to play. And in that time, I'm going to think of so many things. And like, I mean, I'm ADHD, and like, I'm going to think of other stuff, and I'm probably going to make myself laugh because I'm weird. And I'm probably going to make myself disappointed because I'm weird and anxious. And so in that time to just be like, don't make a weird face. Listen to their song, but don't listen to too close to their songs. What if you don't like their song, you know?
Okay. Or if you like it too much and you're like jealous.
Right. Or I've talked to people who've had that situation where they're like, this dude is playing like right before me and I know I'm worse. So like every time it's like, please miss a note. Please just mess something up. Like, how do I follow this, you know? And like, what a nightmare, you know? What a nightmare it would be. I do a thing whenever I put on music where I don't, or whenever I put on shows where the house music is the opposite of the music that's going to be performed.
You gotta, yeah.
Because it's
you don't want to
worst.
compare yourself.
Right.
Well, again, I mean, house music's polished and like worked on forever.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And like somebody,
mixed and
you don't want
mastered.
somebody being like, oh, I love this song, this part coming up is great. And then it goes down, and you're like, oh, who's this? And it's somebody fumbling out being like, oh, excuse me, I got to adjust my own microphone because I'm not Wilco or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, I always try to put on like.
Never see Wilco touch a microphone. You never.
These days? Tweety's little stubby fingers, he can't get it around a microphone.
Shout. Hey, Butler, get
Get
over
out
here.
here. We got to give a trophy to a kid. I think, like, kind of love Wilco.
I don't know much about Wilco or Ween, and because I don't know much about him, I get them mixed up.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird. That's very weird.
I did that with
Also, you should go see Ween.
They're coming up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, in Asheville. That should be a killer show. People love Ween.
People love Ween, and like I'm not gonna go because I don't tend to like love being around a bunch of people loving Ween. But
Right.
like I've seen them, and I could not believe how good it was. Like it just was, you know, dorky. Like they didn't care about anything except being good, and they just like were good, and it's just like, here's a country song about blowjobs, and then like here's a masterfully arranged, song about, God, I don't know, hot dogs or whatever, bananas and blow, and it's all just so like, you just it's masterful. I don't know who else could do something so avant-garde and be so well received, but I mean, I guess if you give everybody enough nitrous and cheap beer, they'll think you're a genius.
That's what Ween's running on.
The
Ween's audience.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
What sort of shows do you like? Because I like watching great musicians, I guess. Like I saw Queens of the Stone Age recently, and I was like,
Nice.
These guys are rock incarnate. They're just they are rock stars. But I'm kind of squished in at Rabbit Rabbit with everybody, and like there's a tall guy in front of me. No offense, and
I get it.
and just like, I'm not really having fun right now. Or like when I'm encouraged to sing or clap, not a fan.
Yeah.
I do not enjoy that. I saw one band over the past, like, I don't know, as far back as I can remember that I loved, or maybe a couple. It was Dekaiju.
Yeah,
it's like a
cool.
punk band. They're
I
just
know
super
them.
like
So
crazy and like do insane things, like put their guitars on people in the audience who don't want them necessarily, and they're like, I don't know what to do with this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like feedback, city, and they set stuff on fire and they crowd surf, and like my brain is like, I can't handle this, like so much stimulation and raw like punk vibes. I really like that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's one of the Daikaiju's one of the like 5 to 10 best shows that I've ever seen. I saw him at Lazy Diamond. And,
cool.
like, back when they had like the kind of arcade area in the back. I don't know if you remember that area. It's now called Strange Magic. But they like played over by the garage door, and like the room was just completely like elbow to elbow, shoulder to shoulder, packed with people. And they wear the masks, and it's just like super spooky. And the dude just like grabs a piece of the drums and points to the back of the room, and everybody moved the drums back into the arcade. And then it was the amps, and like everything was just ready to go, like with extension cords. They just moved the whole band while still playing to the other room, and then just put lighter fluid on everything. And I'm like, we are inside a crowded room. There's no way that. And then just like goosh, and it's like all on fire. And I'm like, fuck it, I'll die at Lazy Diamond. Like, why not? If I go down in a punk show.
So awesome. Yeah.
They don't let you into heaven if you die at a punk show. That's perfect.
You don't need to go because you were already there.
You're just there forever.
That is
I don't know
just my speed of show for sure. But I could never, or I don't know, I don't want to say never, but like it boggles my mind how anybody summons that energy, or like I don't know how I could ever get out on stage and go crazy like that in front of people. I mean, I'm doing it right now.
Well, the rumor is that like it's a bunch of guys from bluegrass bands.
Oh yeah.
That like, yeah, it's like an interchangeable, like a lot of the people in the group will change out over the years, and it's just like they just got tired of doing like the same kind of high energy thing. Like punk and bluegrass are kind of the same. It's cocaine. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like it's just like and go as fast as you can. Like metal is like when you're sober from coke and you don't do it anymore, and you're just masterfully like, no, this is my addiction. And so like the bluegrass folks just being like, what if we like burn stuff at punk clubs? And like, okay, but we got to have masks, or there's no way we're going to be able to go out with mandolin orange or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I buy it.
I like it. Yeah. I'll start any kind of rumor. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Or at least pass it along if it's not harmful.
What's another rumor we could start? Who's somebody that we don't like?
Honestly, okay, I have a whole list of people who have played open folk that I've made up little rumors about over the years, because we've talked about starting like a open folk shit posting Instagram that like is like our fake enemy of open folk that just like talks shit about us, but it's just like all the hot goss. So I already have like a lot of those, but I haven't decided whether I want to start that Instagram or not, so I don't want to share them.
Okay, right. But don't waste any jokes here.
I guess it would. Have you come across Descolada? Have you had Descolada on your show?
Mm-mm.
Descolada's awesome. Really super genuine, really funny, beautiful songwriter. Writes a lot about just the absurdity of religion, but in a way that kind of doesn't hurt doesn't sting too much.
Okay, great.
And our thing was that Descolada can dunk. And like that was our rumor that we were gonna kind of, you know what I mean? It's like nothing mean, but it just like would be really cool to just be like, like low key, like fucking Descolada balls. Like that dude just like, I was driving by a park, I saw him just hammer. You know what I mean? Like above the rim.
That is great. I'm trying to think about how I'd feel if that rumor got back to me. Somebody comes up and they're like, dude, you want to play some ball? And then you're like, yeah, dude, I do. Like, let's hang out on Saturday. I haven't played in a while. And they're like, sure, man, sure.
Oh, what a wild way for that to come across. And then everybody's mad at you. Like, I thought you could dunk. Right. Like, who told you that?
Turns
Everybody.
out there's this huge rivalry going on. It's the key game, and you're like the...
like Air Bud.
Supposed to cinch it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's worth a song, for sure. I'm super excited to be done with this album to be able to write new music, because I've been working on old music and grinding away at trying to produce it for a long time. And I wrote a nice bossa nova a couple of months ago, not too long ago. That was nice. That'll be part of the new wave. The music that you're going to record tomorrow, can you tell me a little bit about that, like the subject matter, and are you excited to keep playing it, or are you excited to move past it? Like, where are you at with this this material?
Yeah. So, Of the Stars is the name that I put out music under. I've put out music under a lot of different names, Zaq Squares being one of them. But Zaq Squares was a name that I came up with to hide the like Cuban part of me. I just felt like a lot of shame around my identity and didn't know how to identify myself. And through therapy and, you know, just like reflection and meditation, I've realized that I should not be ashamed of who I am.
Definitely.
And, it's
you
like,
are enough.
Thank you. So I have these
and I'm
songs
sorry
that,
about your last name pronunciation at the beginning of the show again.
Oh, no worries.
Squares messed me up, I feel like.
Also, like
Suárez.
Suárez. A lot of people pronounce the name Suarez, which is something that I have been trying to correct because it's not how it's pronounced. There is a accent in my name, and it's weird that can just be ignored and changed. And it made sense to me as I was ashamed, which is like, oh, Suarez. And I mean, it. When you hear the way a cop pronounces your last name versus how he was talking to you before he found out what your last name was, you assign some strange things to what your last name means, you know?
Sure. Yeah.
There's just a like Suarez that's just like, dang, okay, well, sorry. You know, like you want to apologize for yourself. So Squares kind of came around, and then Of the Stars felt like a really nice, it started as a group project that has slowly just come down to me. And the group project was, I was the primary writer, and would collaborate with two other folks who are wonderful and dear to me, but just not really interested in pursuing things in the same way. Mm-hmm. So we have some material out as Of the Stars, and it's all really, really produced. And like we had a lot of fun. Like quarantine was a blast, and like recorded it within that like time isn't real, watch. And so
quarantine was a blast.
I miss it. Honestly, it is. The scariest part about quarantine was worrying if things would turn out exactly like they are now. You know what I mean?
In what way?
Like, oh, what if the supply chain like breaks, and like what if corporations find ways to like just completely wreck everything that's happening here? And like, I don't know, what if we get a person who probably can't count to 10 to replace the previous person who couldn't count to 10? And like, what if war breaks out? And what if our infrastructure fails? And what if we all get a clear view of how incompetent the left is, and like how evil the right is doesn't really matter when they're just the same thing? And you know,
okay, yeah, that's some scary stuff.
You know, all the people that lost their jobs, AI doing what it's doing, the whole weird thing that happened with like crypto and the messaging behind that tanked it so quickly. I mean, like,
the democratic message of like the claim of escaping the control of big banks, the messaging behind crypto.
Yeah, I felt like there was.
Not to drill down on crypto.
Yeah,
I don't know why I chose that one.
It's okay.
I think
Yeah, we don't.
all
need
of
to
it
do
is
that.
like I have to. I got very emotionally attached to politics for a long period of my life, and found that it was pretty crippling to my mental health and
Yeah.
took up a lot of bandwidth. It is a very globalized world, and it is I think it's our responsibility to stay somewhat aware, to be like functional citizens. But it's difficult enough to keep up with like my immediate community, you know. It's and I think I'm trying to put more focus and effort into that recently. There are things to complain about there too, but
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't. It's very difficult to keep that bandwidth open for me. Maybe that's privilege talking a little bit, but
I mean, at a certain point, I think if you learn enough and if you study enough history and you watch enough of what's going on, you understand that we were born into the bad guys who had won. And it's really hard to try to be a good person when you like look at all of the things that you have and you are, and how much they came from like lies and torture, you know. And it's like, I mean, the place that we're in now, we complain about it because it should be spoken about how dark it is, and it's also too late. You know, all we can do is focus on our little groups and like watch it burn, you know. I mean, just the more you read, it's just like, you know, you're not supposed to have 8 cups of water a day. You're just supposed to drink till you're not thirsty, and then when you're thirsty, have more of it. Some random person just chose 8 cups of water.
Keeping up with those is very difficult too. The amount of health things that you're supposed to do every day, like
everything.
Make sure to get in the sun right when the sun is rising, so you can perceive those colors of the sunrise as distinct from the colors of the sunset, where you should also be outside on a jaunty walk. And you know, like counting calories and making sure to go to the gym, but not too much, you know. Yeah.
It's all just like,
it's a lot.
You should be walking, you know?
Yeah.
But I mean, we've figured out how to add commerce to every step of it. And like, even just reading about recycling, you know, and that it's like, it was never real. It just was never real. And it's still not real. I mean, it's Asheville, right? Like, our recycling just goes to the dump. And that's because it's always just gone to the dump.
Right. Why even separate it?
Now.
It's like the one thing people do. I won't. It's a boundary. Bring my own bags to the grocery store.
Wow. That's bold.
That's right. That's where my politics stand. I'll be honest right now. Yeah, on camera.
You won't bring your own bags?
I feel like that's the next... I'm sure it's helpful on some level.
Oh no, I mean I've like read the studies that it's worse to bring your own bags for sure.
In what way is it worse?
The
it just
material
feels
that
to me
those
that
plastics are made out of, and that like the things that we're using aren't made to last, and they're built by like they're put together by slaves on the other side of the planet. So the bag that you're using like has been responsible for so much pollution that before you get it to the time that you stop using it and it goes into the trash again, it has not actually saved more than like using paper bags, buying less, or like reusing boxes from your house.
That's dismal. Yeah.
Yeah, it's dark out there.
I didn't actually mean for it to be a political I just always forget when I get to the front every single 2 weeks or whatever when I'm shopping, and I'm like, oops, I don't even have them. I need to get those. Well, yeah, I think all of that information's dangerous, like the hopelessness of it all. I mean, entropy is kind of like that. Like, it takes so much work to build something, to construct, and not a lot of energy for it to, wear and tear down or be destroyed or whatever. And so I don't know. There is like maybe just an existential condition of being human where like life is really tough in general.
Yeah. I mean, that seems, I also like, and this oddly kind of answers your question about what the new EP or the new songs are about.
I do want to bump back to that. Yeah.
I do think that we are the most fortunate humans in the history of humanity as we understand it. You know what I mean? Aside from like old kings and queens, like, and I guess church leaders.
Many of them turned out to be pretty unhappy too, like slaves to pleasure and also,
but
you know.
But that's pretty lucky, I think.
I guess that's
you know
true.
what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm not going to feel too much pity for a king that was a slave to pleasure. Like, oh no, buddy. Like, we have it worse than that person.
Fair. Fair. Can't argue that too hard.
Poor devil. Had everything he wanted. So I think like I try to like hold space for both the absolute devastating truths of the darkest parts of reality as we understand it, and like it's pretty cool that we can know about that. You know?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool that we can find ways to find new things to believe in, and we can find ways to better believe the things that we choose, you know?
Yeah, I feel somewhat safe, not too on edge talking about these dark things with you, which is nice. You are capable of treading those waters without it, with balance, if that makes sense, with laughs.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. I think there has to be, that was the very last thing that you just said, choosing what to believe and how to find faith, right? Faith in like yourself, or faith in like what have you found faith in?
Oof. Faith.
Or belief in.
Yeah. Well,
Acceptance
Open
of.
Focus Church. What do I have faith in? You're really trying to turn me into a cult leader, which sounds exhausting.
Boosting your brand, man.
Looking for answers? We've got them. For a small fee of $2,000, I can tell you how to be happy.
For happiness, I mean, that's like a pretty good deal.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's the introduction to happiness. There's more
It's
over
not
time,
lasting,
but yeah,
necessarily.
Once you start learning about happiness, it gets very expensive, but feels good to spend, you know.
Retail therapy.
Yeah, that's it. That's my cult. Faith is.
I'm always paranoid that we have cut out or something, but
Looks like we're doing good.
we're doing great. Yeah. So the EP or the material in this EP maybe celebrates the idea of faith and finding a reason to live without necessarily revealing the secrets to life, or that you found.
I mean, I wouldn't peg my music as being particularly hopeful, but I would say, or that there's like much faith inside of it. I think it's more. Somebody recently said that my music is like a puzzle that the listener is supposed to solve.
What a compliment. That's great.
It was really cool. Yeah, it really resonated. Like, I think like lyrically, when I was younger, I was very secretive in what I was trying to say because I was really afraid I'd get in trouble. You know, cool stuff about getting abused as a kid. But it led me to get like really creative and find ways to like say things. And occasionally a listener would say like, "Oh, is this what's going on?" Like, yeah, you know, and that kind of taught me to, like we were talking about before we started, kind of putting jokes into my songs. to give a little levity, and also like just to honor the humor in grief. And I think what I have faith in is the mystery, and I think what my music revolves around or dives into is the mystery, and it makes it sort of mysterious, but
The enigma.
yeah, the answerless, you know,
The ineffable.
unquestionably questionable. Yeah.
Unquestionably questionable.
Undoubtedly doubted.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
It's
Skepticism.
well, I don't know about skepticism. That feels too far.
That's what a skeptic would say.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not saying I'm not a skeptic, but I would say the music is more about just like honoring the mystery, right? Like I think that's where my faith falls, is like wondering.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Wonder. Not all those who wonder are lost.
Ooh.
I'm sorry, everybody.
I saw a bumper sticker that said not all who yonder are lost, and it was for the
Do
Yonder
like
Mountain
that.
String Band.
You know, that's a
And,
band that I saw that I did not enjoy because they're just so wonderful. I was like they might as well be I was like, they were so good that it took away from it for me. I don't know if that makes sense.
It does.
Yeah.
I did security at the Orange Peel for like a year and a half or 2 years when I don't know, 2010. And I was really, it gave me the opportunity to see some of the most dog shit bands and like also the most dog shit audiences. And when I left, there was like a policy still that like employees could go see shows that weren't sold out and bring a +1. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll still work here like once a month, and I'm going to go see every show. I wanted to like understand music better and understand myself better. And
Yeah.
when you didn't have to pay and you can bring a friend for free, you can see things differently, you know? So like Cannibal Corpse show was like pretty dope, you know? It was like exciting to see the bizarreness of that, and especially like on the same stage that later I saw Cyndi Lauper and then like the Black Keys and the Black Lips, and it was like one of those, if there's nothing to do, I'll just go. And like seeing like empty rooms play, like moving bands play to empty rooms feels like really good as a songwriter. You're like, damn, like we all shall fail, you know?
Right, yeah.
And it's just like, and like also remembering as the person being moved in the audience, like this is the most important thing happening in my life at this moment is what you're doing up there. And like the emptiness of this room does not bother me, you know? And like I think that's a really hard lesson for songwriters on their way up, musicians on their way up, is the like, yo, like you're doing the thing you love and anybody's moved. That's humanity. Like that's what we're here for.
Yeah. It is painful when not a lot of people show up in that room, though.
It's any room.
It's very difficult to continue the performance and bring the energy and not comment on it. I'm really bad at that.
Oh,
of like,
no.
well, nobody's here, but
Right.
you guys are here, and so we're gonna move on. It's like,
Yeah.
oof, I should not point to it.
I have been the person in the audience and the person on stage in those moments. And you're just
Nobody
like,
wants
not
that.
nobody, motherfucker. I'm here. You know what I mean?
Right.
I will leave gladly. But yeah, it's hard to remember. And that's pulling it back to open folk.
Sure.
That's the people who are most successful at open folk. Something I really just realized this week. Someone pointed it out to me. It's the people who come out and then interact with their instrument and let you witness as the audience. And when those people play, there can be 0 people there or everyone on earth, because like that doesn't, and that is afforded to people who play open folk, of like there will just be people there. Like we work so hard to make this like an inviting space and like an approachable space, and we don't charge a cover because you should be able to just enjoy beautiful things. Like, you know what I mean? Like, somebody here can help make this go on. And if you can't, no one should know that. And you shouldn't feel bad about that. And so when that artist goes and has their moment and you see them just like breathe and have it, and then breathe life into their instrument and bring life into the room and like share their experience and what they are, and we just get to like be with you. It's not often that I'm able to take time to listen and be moved at Open Folk, because Open Folk works because I am always like, what's next? You know,
right.
No one needs to worry about what's next except me. And so it works, you know. I'm making sure that next artist is tuning while this person's on their second song, and make sure they're getting reminded to get back there. I'm going to say, do you need water? Do you need anything? Like,
you got to be brainstorming compliments too. I've noticed that you are super generous in your language in general. You can bring this like caring positivity in your introductions, in your promotion, and that's a wonderful skill to bring to the table. Invaluable. I think it's really attractive to people to to be sitting there and thinking like, what should I wonder? You know, what should I think about this person that's coming? And you deliver the introduction full of, you know, in a very secure way, in a confident way. Like, this person's great. Here you go.
That's part of, so like it's not it's not disinteresting, but it's not something I really talk about outside of the players. We have a pre-meeting 25 minutes before the show starts, where I just bring the artists in the back. That's where everybody meets, and I go through like all originals, no monitors, one microphone. Here's how to like work with this microphone, so that you get ready. But I'm also like, you're here because I like you, and like, you're here because you're great and you're gonna do great, and like, you need to know that like, everybody in this room is great. Like, y'all don't know yet, but at the end of the night you're gonna be like, damn, everybody was great. And like,
yeah,
that's what I'm here to do, and that's why they come. But I'm like, when you go out there, my job is to hype you up and hold the space. So you don't need to come out there, like I tell them, you got to be tuned when you walk out, and not to address the fact that everybody's being quiet. So I'm always like, just pretend that when you go to breweries, it's a bunch of people that love art and like want to engage with good songwriting, you know?
yeah.
But it's like, I'm going to go out and just tell them that you're amazing because I think you're amazing. And then I just need you to go out and just be amazing. Like, just be you, because that's what I am, you know what I mean? That's what I'm here for. So going and just being like, here's what I love about this person, takes that like, I wonder what's next, into a like, okay, is Zaq trustworthy? You know what I mean? Which I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm trustworthy. I'm too anxious not to be.
Yeah, you haven't even done that thing with the dating app that you've considered.
Oh boy.
What self-restraint?
What a hero.
I do, yeah. I think that's wonderful. I think Open Folk is wonderful. I'm wondering if you've been influenced by hearing all of these singers. Many of them are on acoustic instruments. You know, it's very pared down. I listened to some of the stars, and or George and the Giant, and there's kind of effect heavy, you know, beats and production and delay and wet, you know, saturated, you know, nonsense craziness. And now you're nylon strings and voice, you know, a little bit of a departure there. How does that, what's a cause and what's an effect, you know? How did that come to be? And do you feel, is it serving a purpose in your life? Like, are you feeling more calm and safety doing music this way, or something like that?
No, yeah, that's a good question, and thank you for having listened to and then describing my music that's released that way. It is like,
I wish I could speak to the puzzle aspect of it. I'm terrible at listening to lyrics, I was just vibing.
No,
it was good stuff.
That's good. I'm going for the vibe. Yeah, my kind of approach is like, hook you with something about the song, and then if you're like, I want to hear it again, then it gets in your head, and then you get to the lyrics and you're like, damn, what's he talking about? And you're like, oh, you know, which is the worst approach to songwriting, because I'm like, if you listen to it 4 times, you're gonna love it and get it, you know, which is like, sure, yeah, let me give you 4 listens to your song.
I can't claim 0. that I went for 4.
Yeah, why would you?
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's a good thing, but the people who are fans of my music are like with it, and I mean, they get it. You know what I mean? They do listen to it 4 times, and not 5, but 4.
And you're hoping for that with the acoustic treatment too?
I think with the acoustic treatment, I'd be happy with 2 listens.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, so songwriting to me, arranging is the most fun part. You know what I mean? Like George and the Giant stuff we wrote in the studio. So it was like 4 hours. 4 hours is like the magic number for me. If everything's set up and I can walk in a 4-hour block, I can open myself up, create a song, make it weird and like interesting in parts, and then just be completely drained and leave. And like I know that number for me. After 4 hours, I can still hang out and be collaborative, but like it starts to diminish. So George and the Giant is very like, me and George weren't even friends. Like we just connected.
You were enemies?
Maybe. We you know, we didn't know yet.
Okay, sure.
But it was just super like, he's just like, dude, go to my house and record. And I was like, fuck it, I'm so depressed. And like, just like, hey, random, let's go. And like wrote a song in 4 hours, and I was like, I'm leaving. And he's just like, what just happened? And like, that's it. I mean, both of the songs that we have released are just a 4-hour session and then leaving. And we have another album that'll come out whenever it gets mixed, but did the same thing. We took like 5 days and recorded and wrote 8 songs. Really like 4 days, but so my brain like works in that, like, how do you tell the story with the other parts, you know? And being in quarantine, and like quarantine with some best friends, and like Alex, who was one of the contributors of the Stars, he like makes music. This was like years ago. He's like, I have some EPs out, but like I don't like show them to people because they're really there for when inevitably like the robots take over and start scanning through what humanity's done. I want them to come across my stuff and go, oh, this guy gets it. You know what I mean? Alex is awesome. I love hanging out with him. I love hearing how his brain works. And he does just have these like feedback albums that like tell stories, and like, you know, I mean, he's
albums like guitar feedback,
or like just creating ambient room feedback with a microphone and some reverb and like cement walls.
Interesting.
Like,
okay.
They're not pleasant to listen to, but like it's pure art, and it's not for anybody. And it's like, I mean, he would leave a microphone going for hours just to like be like, go back and like find the parts that like, oh, look what it did here. And like, oh, like it was a room in his basement that it was like, well, if somebody walks across like this part, then it's like gets to you get this new sound, you know?
Yeah.
So like that dude's way of thinking, where he just kept being like, am I messing this up too much? Am I making this weird? And I'm like, dude, let's go weirder, you know? It's like, how do we make something that like starts off sounding like a saxophone, but like is completely unrecognizable as a saxophone and never was a saxophone? And he's like, here's how, you know? Big Ableton guy.
Okay, right.
So the recordings that we have released were just like really over the top of a lot of songs that were already written that felt like they applied in a world post-COVID. And so what I'm doing with this new one, and like what it means to be just me and the classical guitar, is I want it to sound intimate. I think something that I really try to find with musicians that play open folk is people who aren't folk and are going to bring me acoustic versions, like unplugged versions of their songs, because that's hard, and it shows the true like beauty and strength of your songwriting. And so I'm trying to do that to my own music, and I have been so influenced by so many wonderful musicians who I've gotten to see and gotten to know. So some of the songs are like I'm basically in a point where like I want to capture moments. I want have you listened to Connie Converse?
I can't.
Cool.
Getting a lot of tips here. What was the other person?
Descalada. Yeah, Descalada's
Okay.
local. Connie Converse passed in like the 60s or 70s.
Oh, okay.
And her recordings surfaced, and they're all just like her in an apartment in New York, like on a little microphone and a couple people around, you know? And it's like you don't hear the people talking, but you can just hear the like pleasure of the person witnessing, and like her insecurity being like, oh, but I have these songs and I have to share them, you know? And there's just this like there's a give and receive that's captured. And so what I'm really trying to do with my recordings now is have a give and receive, and I'm trying to do it with other artists as well, that shows like it's okay if it's flawed. It's like we're talking about, like I want the moment, not the like here's how it would be if time didn't exist and I could fix everything. Like I want just the like here's how much it hurts sometimes, and like here's how good it feels sometimes. Like I want to achieve that, not with synthetics of like how do we make it sound like this. I want it to be like there's like silence here, or like this no click track. This is gonna get a little slower. This is gonna get a little bit faster because that's how it feels.
Yeah.
So there will be like old songs and new songs on this EP, unreleased and re-released, because the mood's different.
Okay, yeah. So I like that. I think getting the nugget of it that I'm picking up there near the end of like this difference of super produced music, even if it's just 4 hours in a studio, but like with somebody knowledgeable on Ableton and digging into all these synthetic, artificial sounds, is a little bit removed or a different approach than the more hands-on approach. Which maybe this is now the time to bring up Paul Gaeta Otorongo, who made this same move. He's a great friend, and he was producing like hip hop tracks and like hardcore EDM stuff, and then
really
stepped back to do ambient stuff, which was, I know he does a lot of that with like Ableton and analog synthesizers and effects, but slow down. And now those events at the Well are like he's playing like zither and native flute and has really entered the now, right? The moment, the mindful give and take. Or I meant to bring it up earlier too, the inviting a crowd to sing, like kirtan stuff, which I haven't done a whole lot of, but when I'm a part of it, like that chanting, it is the soothing is a word. Activating
is a good word.
Yeah.
I do a lot of yoga, and I really like to do yoga in community because I think there's power, one, in breathing with people, and two, in having someone remind you to breathe.
I just started like a month ago.
Doing yoga?
Yeah, I'm doing weekly stuff at the community center.
Yeah, in North Asheville?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I go.
Nice.
Yeah,
I love
it.
it.
Do a class together. Yeah, I'm like there like 4 times a week.
Okay, cool. I'd love that.
I found
maybe you can be my pal at like one of the hot stuff. I want to step it up from the gentle.
Oh.
At some point.
I can't. I'm a baby.
Oh, yeah.
I go to gentle like 4 times a week.
Okay.
There's like I found the more strenuous teachers who like really push through the gentle into like somewhere more like a yin, but with more poses. And I'm wanting to get into vinyasa, but I'm really scared because I have a really good relationship with the meditative aspects of yoga that come with gentle.
I know. I love that. All the reassurances, affirmations. Yeah. It is okay. Yeah. I am enough.
Yeah.
The universe is, it's fine. It's benevolent, or at least not out to get me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a positive version of indifferent.
Yeah.
But so through that, I've been introduced to like kirtan and sound baths, and someone who plays Arielita plays open folk sometimes, and she's become a good friend, and she's a great songwriter, and as a yoga teacher at Asheville Community Yoga, and Paul is her neighbor.
Oh, okay.
And so she was like, yo, we're going to this sound bath, and it's wild. And I was like, okay, like, I trust you. Generally, I would be like, okay, have fun. I don't know what a sound bath is, but I don't think I'm going to fit in it. And, like, we went, and she's like, super chill. We'll get there early. We'll put some yoga mats down, lay on the floor. And I was like, fuck it. Like, I'm going to bring, like, eye covers, you know?
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to go deep. And I attempted pot extensively beforehand, and I got there, and I was like, oh, man, strangers. Oops, you know? And I don't like people. I don't know how to explain it.
Well, I'm sorry for being here right now.
It's tough.
You know? There's not much I can do about it.
On behalf of Earth, I'm sorry for all the people.
Yeah.
No, like I like people, but not in groups. That's a Vandiver quote, and it's very true. And so being in a group with a bunch of people who were there for a sound bath, I was like, I don't think I want to talk to you. I don't want to know what you have in common. I'm here with my homies. I'm a little too high. And like, I was like, fuck it, I trust the homies. And then it got started, and I pulled the little like eye covers, little peepers over my eyes, and laid back. And during his set, I saw my father, and I was able to understand his perspective as like a shitty person. I understood that he didn't want to be a dad, and I saw like myself understanding these things in like like it wasn't about me. It was about him, and I forgave myself, and I like saw my mother, and I saw the things that she the ways that she was abusive, and I saw that was carried down from her abusive mother and deeper still, and I found forgiveness for myself, and I humanized them. And then I came back into my body, and I have not been the same since that. So I think that he has ability to access some things that are like really. I think he knows too. I think Paul's aware that like he's opening some channels, like for people, and like holding a space in a bigger and deeper way. And I didn't go to his last one because there was a kirtan, and I don't want to sing with strangers, and I don't want to chant with strangers. I want, and I heard that it was going to be a shorter set. I'm like, no, I want an hour and a half. Like I've honestly we've been talking to a little group of us about just reaching out to him and being like, what would you just charge?
I know for a fact that he does do that work. So,
cool.
Yeah.
Because I mean, kind of known for filling rooms.
Right.
And, like, I would love to like help him out and also do it in a way that would be accessible to some people.
He's a wonderful guy. I love that dude. And you seem cool too. So I really want to encourage that.
Yeah.
That union. That would be great.
It's a weird, like, I thought, but like, how do you just be like, hey, thanks for like getting me in touch with my trauma in like a really safe way? Like, I mean, I guess that's not as weird of a DM as what women have to deal with on the internet constantly. I don't know why I get so worried.
Right. Yeah. Back to fear.
Yeah. Good old fear.
A lot of fear around. It'll keep you safe, but it'll also keep you away from sound bath experiences that you want more of.
But it'll also motivate me to get a better sound bath experience for myself and others, curated the way that I want it. So it's like
enough fear piped in.
Yeah, like the fear, and I am told that I have CPTSD, complex post-traumatic stress disorder. And like an aspect of that is that you think that you're going to be dead soon. And so I've spent like my whole life assuming that death was coming like around the corner. So I've done just some weird, wild things. Cause I'm just like, well, I mean, it's almost time. Like it took my therapist and my partner like convincing me that I'm not about to die. Like in the last 6 months. I'm like, what do you mean? You know,
any minute.
Like my therapist was like, you know, she's like, you still have a lot of life ahead of you, and I was like, yeah, well, like 3 years. And she's like, well, no, like more than 3 years. People don't just like, no, you got time.
Keel
you know,
over, right?
yeah. And
Yeah,
I'm just like,
yeah.
well, like what? And she's like, I mean, 40 years. And I'm like, 40? Get the fuck out. 40 years? What are we going to do 40 years from now? I don't want to be alive in 40 years. She's like, what if we picked 20? And I was like, well, marry me, my partner. I was like, my therapist says that I could live like 20, 40 more years. She's like, dude, I'm banking on you living like 20 or 40 years.
Of
I'm
course,
like, what?
right.
What are you talking about? And so it's like this like kind of relearning. And so I think like
I can
fear
relate.
and like lack of fear battling allows you to like really hold yourself and cripple yourself in some ways, and also just be like, fuck it, like let's just do it. What's the worst that could happen? We die there. I don't know why I refer to myself as we, but
The royal we, it's coming back. So many callbacks on this episode. I find that indecision is tough. Or for me, titrating or oscillating between different extremes and kind of getting locked in one for a little bit, you know. But I think the indecision, right? I will be feeling like, oh, I don't know if I want to do this or that or this or that or this, and then I'll just do some third thing that's like self-sabotaging because I didn't choose either of the two healthy options.
yeah, totally. It's the worst. It's the worst being indecisive like that, and like picking the third thing. So you're just like, how did I end up at Taco Bell? You know what I mean? Like, this wasn't even close.
Yeah, I think I always thought, I'm so surprised that I made it this far, for sure. You know, when I was more rock and roll earlier in life, I thought, yeah, maybe youth is like that, you know, more reckless, like it doesn't matter. But then there's like reasons to live now. You find connection and, you know, excitement.
There's so many reasons to live, absolutely. And there's reasons to not
Taco
be
Bell.
afraid. Yeah, some other third thing. Taco Bell.
I've actually never eaten tacos at Taco Bell. I've only had the cinnamon twists. Do they still have those?
I don't know. I don't really go there either.
Oh,
but
okay. Yeah.
it is a place I've been, and that seems like it was a mistake.
Yeah.
The cinnamon twists are great, though. I loved the cinnamon twist, but I've eaten a lot of tacos at Taco Bell just in my younger days.
Right, yeah.
These days I'll just be hungry.
All right, well, now we're going to venture into talking about our younger days and how
That's what
old we
everybody
are.
wants to hear. Yeah.
We know we're about at an hour. Would you be surprised to know that?
That's
Taking a line from Scott Ackerman. Do you have any other dangling threads or like profundities that you want to put out there in perpetuity?
Perpetuitous profundity. What's that word again?
Profundities?
Profundities. Just profundity.
Right, exactly. I got you. I see what you're doing.
Thank you. A gift. A treat. Let's see. I'm really glad that we didn't. I feel like I haven't said anything super dumb yet.
Now's the time.
Yeah, that's true. Descalada can dunk. I saw him do it.
You're gonna get him into trouble, man.
Yeah.
When people
That's
elicit
good.
him onto their team.
That's fine. He's got a kid now. He can fight. He's gotten tough. I don't know.
Kids make you tough. Yeah.
I don't know. He seems tough. No, I'm really super grateful that Open Folk is doing what it's doing, and it's like one of the most beautiful things in my life right now.
Totally. And you've got a few things to plug, yeah, that you're proud of, right? Like on the river scene.
Plugging profundities.
No, I'm not taking this one. I did just interrupt the hell out of you, though, so I'm really sorry. What were you saying about Open Folk?
Oh, just the way that it's been received, and like people that come up and like talk to me and give gratitude for this thing that like is a ton of work, is always just like so moving and so unexpected and so sweet. There's only two things that really bother me or are tough. One, like I started this thing because I'm a musician and I wanted more things like this to play at. So I really hate that nobody's ripping me off and making a better open folk. I would love to be the shittier version.
Opener folker.
Yeah. I mean, that's sure,
Open folk 2, even louder or even quieter.
Or like an instrumental version of the same thing, or like, I mean, anything. I would love to be able to find more intentional events, but like that requires somebody really like beating themselves up pretty hard and like, having learned a lot. But so I'm sad that there's not other things or like more things like this that I could go play and attend. And I have had a really
also thank you for being here
time
to play this one.
It means a lot that I get to play. Yeah. It's so rare that I get to, which is the second thing, that I get to be an artist. Like I've lost a lot of that identity in being the host and the founder of Open Folk. So it's this weird golden handcuff of like, I've made so many dear friends and connections, and like I feel blessed all the time that people like want to stop me and give gratitude. And then also that it's not because of the art that I make. It's like, it's like this weird, every time it happens, it's gotten softer, but the blows early of just like, you are such a great host. It's just like, fuck off. No, I was just mad that there was nothing this cool yet. And I wanted to play at this, and then like, I've tried to like have other hosts and like make this more like decentralized, and everybody's just like, why would we do this? It was like, true. That's right. I am really beating myself up to make this perfect each week. So.
Which is an art in itself, the curation of the event.
Yeah, and I always quote this, but Kurt Vonnegut says that the goal of any artist should be to make people appreciate being alive at least a little bit. And I like really try to live by that. And I've just sort of, and I try to share that with a lot of artists. But I've just sort of recently tried to live a life like art, and I try to incorporate creative things into so many aspects that you kind of lose sight of the fact that you are an artist and that you do put artistic and creative spins on all the things that you do. And so as I always appreciate a reminder that like, yeah, the curating is its own art form. It's just like the one that I spent my whole life pursuing is directly adjacent to the one that people are grateful for.
People are grateful for you.
Yeah, which is great. Which is great.
That is great. You're like the king who's a slave to his pleasures. You're like
my
a slave
addiction.
You're a slave to the event that you created. I don't know if that tracks, but I really felt called to use some hippie speak to offer to give you like a platform and put you out there, and
yeah, I appreciate that.
You put so much towards other people, putting them out there, and you do. Man, I really want to talk more about what being an artist means and identifying that way, and how, like, is creativity just a fundamental human thing that everybody should get in touch with, or is it okay to be like a little elitist about it and like, or at least meritocratous, or egalitarian about it?
Everyone should be making things. Not everyone should be showing the things that they've made.
Okay. Yeah,
that's how
that makes
I feel.
sense.
Like, I think it's such a joy to like turn something into something, but it doesn't mean it's for other people. It shouldn't be for other people. And when you make it for other people, it starts to suck more.
Right. Yeah. Broadening.
Yeah. And it's like, it's something I was talking to someone about recently. Like, it's commerce. It's introducing commerce to your art that ruins it. You know what I mean? It's like you love doing something, you love painting, and then you put your paintings on the wall at a coffee shop and you put a price tag on them, and now they've lost all their value. You know what I mean? And then when it sells, you've lost yourself, because you're like, why did that one sell and not the other one? Should I have charged more for it? And then like, it's done. It's over. You know what I mean?
So depressing.
Burn your art.
Really
man. Make your art and burn your art. Fuck it. It's,
like Dakaiju.
Yeah.
Be Dakaiju. That's what'll capture people for sure.
Fuck people. That's not why you got to make art. And I was like, I got a little into pottery for a while.
Yeah, I guess capturing people is a weird is a thing.
But it's what we are performance artists, and like that's the weird thing about being a musician. It's like you're a performance artist, but like also not.
But also just being a human, we are social creatures. So like, that's funny when I exclaimed like capturing people. I wasn't talking about like capturing people.
No.
But also, I meant like in a royal we sense, sort of like what is interesting, in a intersubjective sense. Yeah.
Like, yeah. What is the interesting thing to make, or the subject to
or like the
approach,
spirit of it? Yeah. But you were about to talk about pottery that you made and smashed.
Yeah, just like as you're like learning, there was just like as I was making it, I was like, I don't know if the bottom is thick enough, and the person that was teaching me was like, oh, I'm just like, she cut it in half, and she's like, no, yeah, it looks like it about was, and I'm like, it's ruined, and she's like, it's dirt. I'm like, damn, okay, cool. So I just I can just make this wrong over and over. Like I don't need a result, because if this becomes a thing that I do, I'm going to be making these over and over again. And the goal is just to be able to get water to my mouth, right? Like, it's like, it's a functional thing. And the way that she had like a whole collection of pottery from different artists that she admired. And it was like at her house, she's like, which coffee mug do you want? And it was just like, I don't care. And she's like, well, this is the story of this one. This is the other one. And imagining that like waking up in the morning and having like a contemplative moment with the vessel, you know what I mean? And that as you're making it, it's like, oh, this is a nice cup, but it's going to be repeatedly like, oh, this is my favorite cup. And like, oh, I love having tea in my favorite cup, versus like a song that is like, please listen to this for 3 minutes and don't forget about it. You know what I mean? Like it's made to like last differently, but also we put all this preciousness into our songs, and it's like sometimes you just got to cut it in half and go, man, that chorus is stupid. You know what I mean? Or like, right. Oh man, I really lost the tense in this. I was talking about the now and I'm talking about the future, but also the past, and like this song's not good. I got to cut it up,
Oh yeah.
And so I think
you're calling me out right now on this album that I've been working on for so long.
It's all right. You're going to make another one, right?
Yeah. Or maybe I'll become an accountant. I don't know.
That's always my joke. Gosh, like, man, if we just would have gotten the numbers, we'd be partying right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Could be in a rock band on the weekends having a blast.
Yeah. Like just calling a homie, being like, hey, 742. Be like, damn, that's a good one. All right, you want to just play guitar and not think? Okay, sure.
743.
Oh! Accountants, man, they're the real rock stars.
They sure are.
Fucking awesome.
All right, that seems like a good place to call it. Okay. Are you about ready to jam?
Yeah, I'd love
to perform. We're going to take a quick break and move some things around. Zaq Squares. I'm Sam Irvin. This is Asheville 8 Note, and we'll be right back. Now, I must say, I have no way to fade out from over here, so we're just going to awkwardly hobble off.
Okay.
And that's part of the show. So the more awkwarder, the better.
I'm not sure how to be more awkward.
It's probably the appropriate amount of awkward.
Okay.
If you overthink it.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
I won't hit my head on the ceiling.
Nor the cameras.
I'm gonna use the restroom on our break. I'm Zaq Squares of the Stars. And I'm going to play some songs with my strangely crackly voice. That does not sound like tune.
Would you use my tuner?
I just want to die.
I think it's beautiful. It's going to be great.
Okay.
I meant to introduce you as, here's this beautiful musician. I really love how his songs are like puzzles.
Come on. Okay, let's do that. Goodness, come on. Two sides of mystery. Will anybody remember me? How will they think of me? And will I be missed? Is this the shit we're meant to stare at the stars and wonder? Or is this wandering just worrying a la mode? The earth's golden heart is pulling us in close to her. A secret, a stone, a mother, a home. And as we drift, my thoughts persist, but I rise above them. I rise, I rise, I rise, I rise. That's the mystery. This is a different mystery. Hey, turn a phrase until it means what you need it to. Plans are made for change and not for saving you. When you look at me like I'm crazy, I remember that it ain't so bad being lonesome. Hey, airplane, it's the pilot, not you, that's really flying. Hey, everybody, you're not really stuck, you know it's gravity's pulling you down. Everything's almost certainly something else, so what's the point in pointing it out? You try hard to get what you want you cannot explain. Throwing little fits and feeling surprised as the world unfolds. you close your eyes. Hanging by a thread, feeling overwhelmed by the sun. Cutting every corner is a death by 1,000 paper cuts. Talking to a stranger to the someone you know is every story ever told. Hey little dreamer, don't you know that the morning always comes? Hey little screamer, can't you see I'm trying to get some sleep, 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 sleep. Everything's almost certainly something else. So what's the meaning in being so mean to me? So afraid of harm, you build up walls, but the wolf at the door is just a pup that wants to stay warm. And as the world wraps around you, you cross your arms. Oh, broken neck, sweat gland, trauma skin, headband, legal weed, cocktails, revenge emails, open minds, open pants, open heart, romance, unemployed street lamp, dreaming of a fish camp, true love, true crime. God bless this life of mine, as long as everything gets where it's going. As long as everything gets where it's going, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. Fine. Slim Jim lost a limb, forgot the words to his favorite hymn. His wife by his side smiled polite, even though she knew he was soon for dying. And well before he got to the grave, he'd never kiss her in quite the same way as he did when they were young. His clock was still ticking, but his bell had been rung. As long as everything gets where it's going, as long as everything gets where it's going, just as long as everything gets where it's going, we'll be fine. Thank you.
Seriously, dreamy. That's wonderful.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you for sharing. That's great.
Thanks.
I don't know how you keep so much poetry memorized. That's impressive.
Well, if you liked that one,
Robust.
this one has too many chords in it.
Yeah.
So,
Now you're talking about language.
yeah, you'll love it. It's sure. It's actually it's not the one I would generally play next. Maybe I shouldn't. That is exactly what I was planning on doing. Dang.
No, do it.
No, I'll come back to the other thoughts. Let me know when.
Yeah, go for it. I'm gonna sit over here this time, right near you.
It's called Awful Nice.
Skies wide, wide, wide open, and we're hoping that we'll get away on a falling star. Counting constellations drifting by across the chilly southern night, warming our bones by the fireside. Tall, tall, dewy blades of grass creeping up the post of the old wood fence. Morning is here and birds come bless the edges of the garden wall. They don't mind us, always laughing. They won't mind us, often sobbing. And it's awful nice to feel at home when I'm with you. Trees seem candy coated, and we know it won't be long until a storm comes around, takes the leaves, leaves the forest trees barren, and the river high along the road to town. Along the road to town, to town. Huddle, cuddle, bundled up tight in our homemade scarves in the middle of the night, doing what we can to stay warm, knowing full well there will be colder days ahead, till the spring brings blooming dark woods and hummingbirds. They don't mind us, always laughing. They won't mind us, often sobbing. And it's awful nice to feel at home when I'm with you. Oh, my darling, we must let go of the idea that things were better ever before. They never were, even in the dead of winter, even in the deepest dark night. Be like the sun, keep on shining bright. Oh, my darling, we must let go of the idea that things were better ever before. They never were, even in the dead of winter, even in the deepest dark of night. Be like the sun, keep on shining bright. And it's awful nice to feel at
I get a show just for me.
Just
For
you.
myself, man. I'm sure people are loving it.
Another one, okay?
Absolutely. Play as many as you want. As far as I'm concerned, these are great.
Thank you so much.
Really, I mean it.
Hands down, hands down.
Hey, ba 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 bum.
Ah, ba 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 bum. Ah, ah, ah.
Sorry. Ba 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 bum.
Ah, 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 ah. Hands down, it's the last one you'll ever need. Heads up, gonna cost you an arm and a leg. Holy cow, I can't believe I laid it. God, somebody give me some shades. I need to hide from the sun. No joke, it's the last one you'll ever need. Big shot. No, I shouldn't play this one. It's not ready to go.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's a bummer. That's okay. I put something up asking people to request songs, and that was one a couple people requested. So
There you go.
I should have asked this before now, you know. So try it. Let's do it different. Let's do it. What just happened to me?
Don't overthink it.
No, for sure. Okay. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3. Damn, boys. What's happening here? Different song then.
Her brother is a loser and her parents got the same first name. She moved from a mountain to a mountain looking for change. She thrives on paranoia and she swims in a suit made of lead. She cries herself to sleep and her friends say it's all in her head. Her favorite bartender smokes cloves and never charges her drinks. She tells me unironically he's the real man of her dreams. We are a chorus of horses, she's a monkey that bites. I am a soldier that enlisted after losing a fight. She's a grayscale rainbow, she believes in black and white. I got my eyes on a prize. Oh, she's so out of sight. Her favorite color's sadness, and she's always dressed up in it. Late at night she calls her dad to wake him up and remind him he's a piece of shit. She don't believe in Jesus, but she's always wanted to repent. When we fight that she climb up on a cross, they look just like kids. She's Mike Tyson punch out with gloves filled up with weights, and the sharpest tooth I had now lives in a trophy case. We're a chorus of horses, she's a monkey that bites. I am a soldier that enlisted after losing a fight. She's a grayscale rainbow, she believes in black and white. I got my eyes on the prize. Oh, she's so out of sight. Now I'm walking to the corner store, the one by her house, and every front porch is littered with baby barn owls. Yeah, I can hear them screaming, here comes you know who. While she's laying with some dude she's known since grade 2. She was pregnant with lies when I met her, but she weren't showing yet. She's a self-proclaimed pediatrician from the great Southwest. She's a self-proclaimed pediatrician from the great Southwest. Yeah. Thank you.
I love it. So which ones of these are new and which ones are old?
Only Will Be Fine has been released, but they're all from the last few years. The newest song I've written, I'm not sure if I'll record it, but I'll play it now if you like.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, it's a little baby one.
Up the coast, down the mountain, I will go in search of something. Lipstick, hipster, well-dressed tripster, kissing someone's sister. Am I all of these, conscious and perceived? Am I none of these, infinite lifetimes? Spinning gold out of teardrop sinkers, grab a hold of something tangible. Well-read Shakespeare, straight, queer, illiterate, in love at a loss. Am I all of these, conscious and perceived? Am I none of these, infinite lifetimes? And I know nothing, but I wish that the one thing I needed me back half as badly. the coast, down the mountain, I trading snow for the fountain of youth. Conquistador, say no more, settler, believer, conqueror, death bringer. Am I all of these? Conscious and perceived, am I none of these? Infinite lifetimes. Yeah.
Infinite lifetimes.
Infinite lifetimes.
That's a lot of life.
Yeah, and then what?
Infinite deaths, I guess.
Well, until the end, yeah. Like that.
That's why they call it the infinite.
That's it. That's where the finite ends. Infinity. Okay. Here's I think a songwriter that takes some really cool risks in town and is really moving to me. Heard me play this song and fell all over herself and asked me to record it, and that meant a lot to me. So maybe this is my best song.
Okay. Awesome.
Don't be afraid to let your tears fall. Don't be afraid to let your tears fall. Life is better with a pinch of salt. Feelings are dumb, but it's important that you feel them all. Don't run and hide. Don't hold your breath till you're blue. On the outside, do it won't. No. Damn.
Not that one either, huh?
I hate when that happens.
Losing the thread.
No. It's just my other guitar saying it's its turn.
Do you have names for your guitars?
Oddly, no.
I don't either. I just like to ask people.
I've named so many things in my life, and these guitars have not. I've not gotten the cut. I was a bass player for a while. I loved being a bass player. I named my bass Zaq as a laugh.
That's good.
It was pretty good. And then I had another band later that I played guitar and sang, and two of the other members were also named Zaq. So then I stopped calling that bass Zaq because it got too confusing when there was an inanimate object and three people in the band with the name Zaq. So
It's good. I don't have a follow-up joke for that one. That's a good story.
all right, let's try this again. Don't be afraid to let your tears fall. Life is better with a pinch of salt. Feelings are dumb, but it's important that you feel them all. Don't hold your breath till you're blue. on the outside too. Let it out, let it out. Don't be afraid to what you can't do. Getting older kinda hurts, it's true. Getting lost is just a part of being somewhere new. Fall in love, but not so hard that you break a heart and find someone who loves you too. Don't be afraid of what you can't see. Trauma's still there after the beast is slain. You'll know the horrors in your sleeping and your waking brain. Don't run and hide, it'll follow you around the moon. You gotta sit with the pain. Oh, good things must end. Oh, bad things must end too. Everything that's good or bad will end. Don't be upset, you're just a part of everything that's ever been. Everything that's good or bad will end. Don't be upset, you're just a part of everything that's ever been. Don't be afraid to let the sun shine in. It's really good. Thanks.
Super good.
It's really good when I hit all the right chords and sing the right melodies and stuff. So just wait till you hear it shine. Good God. There's something in me that was just like, keep playing.
I'm glad you did.
Me too.
Yeah.
There's so many lessons in there that I have to remind myself of all the time, you know?
Definitely.
It's like, I'm very fortunate to have had those words for myself, you know?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like you bring this real, it's almost like a nostalgia quality of like sentimentalism about the ending of things and the importance that that brings, you know?
Ugh. Damn. Thank you. That's it, yeah. That's what I write about. Let me see if I can do this other one. Hands down, it's the last one you'll ever need. Heads up, gonna cost you an arm and a leg. Holy cow, I can't believe how late it got. Somebody bring me my shades, I need to hide from the sun. Damn it. No joke, you'll never feel sad again. Bad back, we got pillows on porcelain. Big shot, you can't fly with the angels and soar with the eagles. And I'm gonna pick the owls every time. It's unlikely, it's impossible, like electricity. I can't even imagine how it felt to be alive before. And staring out into the void, I disconnect. Damn, why's that part good? I'm so sorry. This is not a great way to represent myself on your show.
You're doing great. Staring into the void and disconnecting, that's part of the show, right? That's like, there's no audience.
To the void, I disconnect from all the bullshit. Ba 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 boom. Ba 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 boom. Ba 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 boom. Ba 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 boom. Goddamn, is this really happening? I swear I was just hanging out, and now some dude wants to put me behind the wheel of a brand new pre-owned Sonata. Vroom, vroom. Boom. What a mess.
That's great, though. Seriously, you are bringing so much cheerfulness. So much. You're communicating a lot.
That's great.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use this opportunity to play a song that is the most requested one, and I didn't think anybody had heard it or knew it. So I'm gonna see if I remember it because it wasn't in my rotation.
Okay.
Does that feel okay to do on your show? Okay.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Gonna kill you with my shitty rock and roll. Gonna kill you with my shitty rock and roll. I know a cockroach, he only has 2 legs. He walks upright, sleeps at night outside my door. He feeds on scraps and leaves a mess. He smokes my weed and then he says he kinda likes the way I sing. I'm gonna kill you with my shitty rock and roll. Oh, gonna kill you with my shitty rock and roll. I'm all the way done, you sucker fish. That's not the line. I'm all the way done, you hot dog breath, tobacco stained fingertips, and from your lips there drips nonsense I can't explain. You're always talking, spitting while you do. You think you're gonna drown us all in it? Well, we've got some news for you. I'm gonna kill you with my shitty rock and roll. Gonna kill you with my shitty rock and roll. An artist epidemic's breaking out. Everyone's getting creative. Sharpen pencils in the park where the syringes used to lie. These superficial sucker fish throw out old statistics. Technically lead poisoning is up 33%. But I'll kill you with my shitty rock and roll. Oh, gonna kill him with my shitty rock and roll.
Love it. Real rock and roll. Right off the top. Say, I will kill you.
With my shitty rock and roll.
Yeah, man. That's a great songwriting.
Thank you so much. I think I would play one more if that's all right.
One more.
One more.
Final.
The final. I don't know that it's the closer, but I would like to track it.
I see you have no greater plans, only on the road to get ahead. And watching from a higher view, I can see you haven't got a clue. And if this were my maiden flight, I would ask if everything was alright. But as we crash into the earth, you're the only one looking surprised. And the cancer spreads through ignorant heads. And a monster lays dead, and it's time we moved on. Your architecture needs no flaws, anything built out of straw will fall. And all the faceless nodding heads holding on to every word you've said. And as your tiny feet are pecking back and forth across the sand, the nourishment you're looking for is already washed up dead. A new illness spreads through innocent heads. Now a hero lays dead. It's time we moved on. It's time we moved on. It's time we moved on. It's time we moved on.
It's time we moved on.
Time we moved on. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was a hoot.
Zaq Squares.
Yeah,
Okay.
I like
All
it.
right.
Yeah,
Now I know you.
now
Thank
you know
for
me.
being on the show. I don't know what camera I'm addressing. Probably this one. But yeah. Bye everybody. This is Asheville 8 Note.
Asheville 8 Note.
Tune in next time for the anniversary app. Thank you so much again for being on.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me. It's
Great.
I'm happy to round out year one.
Year 2.
Year two. Yeah, sorry. Year two.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Even
awesome.
better.
Yeah, nothing's better than a big number 2.
Okay. Great note to end on. All right. Thanks.
You're tuned into Asheville at 8. Make a note of it.
Yeah. 8 is better than 2.
Eight's the best.
It's not Asheville 2 p.m. note.
Though I would have probably sang a lot better at 2 p.m.
Oh, right. I know. It's a little late.
Word.
All right. Bye.
Changed. Mwah.